Masquerade. Painted faces people have made. Masquerade. Hide your face and the world will adore you. Masquerade. Every one is carefully made. Masquerade. Look around. There are people wearing masks beside you. Light and dark, good and bad. Then there's happy, and there's sad. Then myself, oh dear. Excitement and fear. Choices of what to do next for my career. Life is a ride on the merry-go-round. And we set our pace. Masquerade. A place to hide and get paid. Masquerade. A place to breathe when you are drowning. In 8th grade, I started dating this girl that convinced me to try out for the school play. It turned out to be my first play I performed in, and sparked my love for theater. So I have to thank her for that. But I also have to thank her for showing me what a bad kisser means. Her tongue was trying to knock my teeth out, and there was so much slobber that I almost drowned. As she wiped the saliva from her face with a smile, all I could do was grin. 2 weeks later, we broke up, because drowning really is the scariest feeling ever.
People talk about holding hands with a crush when they were younger and how happy it made them. But did they ever think about how dirty those hands are? I remember in kindergarten they showed us a hand-washing demonstration. They shined a black light over our hands to reveal all the bacteria with some indicator stuff they put on our hands. I remember how dirty all the hands were, including mine. Now I've grown up, and every time I go to the bathroom I wash my hands thoroughly. It amazes me when I'm at a restaurant and some guy is all dressed up to look nice and smell nice for some hot girl at the bar, and then he takes a huge dump and walks out the door. When I walk back to my seat, I see him holding that girl's hand, and I wish I had a black light to give her.
What seemed like tenderness was really a red-headed bitch. I'm talking about my ex-girlfriend from back in high school. At first I thought she was sweet and funny, but eventually I realized why they call gingers soulless creatures. She was controlling, selfish, and in the end a cheater. Looking back at it now, I see how naive I was about how she treated me, even though my friends and family kept telling me that she was bad news. Well, there's 3 years of my life I'll never get back.
I never understood why it was so good for people to get straight A's and be stars on the football team. I think it's more for the dads to continue one-upping each other vicariously through their sons. My opinion is that people can be big names in their small towns with their grades, but go nowhere in life. And the people who get average grades with more talent will be big names to the world.
Corner of 13 and cursing. Go-Led with the crumbled streets. Get out. Never leave. They call it Bloody Highway 13 for a reason. So much death in order to create change. New highway. Less blood. but still a drive. I know all too well in my travels back home. Get out. Never leave. I feel bad for my friends who have wasted many years of their lives because they are lost in the most familiar place. Get out. Never leave. Every time I feel progress, something crashes in my side, and I curse my frustration because I veered off my path. Get out. Never leave. Last week I hung out with some of my friends from where I used to work, and what started as a normal catching up turned into a very serious conversation. We met at a bar, stayed for a while, then headed to Nick's house. As soon as we got there, everybody passed out but me and Nick. He was very drunk and I was very sober. We started to ask questions that were legitimate. He asked questions about my political background, which led to religion, like most conversations do. He doesn't believe, and he wants me to explain why I do. I tell him reasons why, and then he counters everything I say with reasons why he doesn't. A full-blooded half-blood always reminds me of some poor kid in Africa or a kid on the streets of New York. I don't know why. I think a lot of people see themselves as full-blooded, but we're all a mix of something. Most of us don't know what we really are, but our parents would tell us the truth, right? If we found out we were half-blooded, are we supposed to be ashamed? Why do we try to put ourselves above others all the time? Nobody said the law states that you must find an underling. People are cruel, and will all be equal when they're dead.
My mother moves her lips in order to form the word yes. She has always had this gifted curse. Her work takes advantage of this trait by asking her to take on more projects during the workday at their law office. They didn't want to pay a cleaning crew anymore, so they asked my mom, and the answer has already been made clear. Long days become longer for her with not much more pay. She did her best to give us kids clothes and food that we wanted, but we could have, and should have, settled for less. She filed for bankruptcy, and I feel awful because I know I was one of 4 reasons. She still says yes, and now she has a granddaughter. I don't think I'll ever see her say no.
My father and I are very different people. But in stereotypical fashion, my family points out that I am becoming more like him as I get older. And ever since I was young, there are a few memories that stick out in my mind between my father and I. He read the Bible to my sisters and I a lot, and thought we should be homeschooled to keep us sheltered. The only thing I remember learning was making volcano out of Play-Doh, then using vinegar and baking soda. Luckily, my mom was smart and made sure we went to public school, even if my dad was against it. My dad spanked me a lot as a kid because, well, I was ornery and stubborn, but I don't remember it that way, of course. My dad was always wanting me to do sports growing up. I tried soccer for 1 year, and I knew I couldn't play football because I would be snapped like a twig, so I I ended up playing baseball for 8 years, with some of those years having my dad as a coach. But then I got to high school, and instead of sports, I began getting more involved in theater. I wouldn't say my dad was against me doing theater, but I know he wished he could be cheering for me at a game instead of applauding at a curtain call.
Thou knowest, friend, what I have seen today. No sorrow like to this have I e'er known. I wish to come with thee to Alderaan, for nothing have I here on Tatooine. Then shall I learn the Force, and shall become a Jedi like my father. Thus I vow. So let's prepare and go upon our way. With haste may we escape the troopers vile. Adventure have I asked for in this life, and now have I too much of my desire? My soul within me weeps, my mind it runs into 1,000 varied paths. My Uncle Owen and my Aunt Beru, had they been cruelly killed for what I want, so shall I never want again if in the wanting of all love I shall be destroyed. Oh, fie, thou knave adventure, evil trick of boyhood's mind, that ever one should seek to have adventure when one hath a home, a family so kind and full of love, good, steady work, and vast, abundant crops. Why would one give up all this gentle life for that one beastly word, adventure? Fie, but soft, my soul, be patient and be wise. The sands of time ne'er turned backward yet, and forward marches fate, not the reverse. So while I cannot wish for them to live, I can my life commit unto their peace. Thus shall I undertake to do them proud, and take whate'er adventure comes my way. 'Tis now my burden, so I shall wear it well, and to the great rebellion give my life. A Jedi shall I be, in all things brave, and thus shall they be honored in their grave.
Masquerade. Painted faces people have made. Masquerade. Hide your face and the world will adore you. Masquerade. Every one is carefully made. Masquerade. Look around. There are people wearing masks beside you. Light and dark, good and bad. Then there's happy, and there's sad. Then myself, oh dear. Excitement and fear. Choices of what to do next for my career. Life is a ride on the merry-go-round. And we set our pace. Masquerade. A place to hide and get paid. Masquerade. A place to breathe when you are drowning.